Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers and students. Today we are going to discuss various modes of studying philosophy of history. Philosophy of history is basically concerned with two different but related branches of philosophical inquiry. First one is critical philosophy of history and second one is speculative philosophy of history. तो ये सब कुछ जानने के लिए you must watch this video till the end and further must subscribe this channel and share the videos with your friends and also don't forget to like the video. Dear students, जहाँ तक critical philosophy of history का तल्लक है, it is analytical and synoptic. While speculative philosophy is formal and material, critical philosophy deals with the philosophical analysis of historiography and inquiries into logical, conceptual, and epistemological characterization of what historians do. While in case of speculative philosophy, historian attempts or speculative philosophy attempt to discover some meaning or significance in concepts which transcends the intelligibility achieved by ordinary historians or historical work. Dear viewers and students, जहाँ तक critical philosophy of history का तल्लक है, critical philosophy of history has developed only from the 19th century. Earlier, history was regarded either as a branch of philosophy or of literature. It was Vico who gave for the first time a philosophical depth to history. Ranke, Rousseau, Carlyle, Hegel were contributed to the growth of critical philosophy of history. Gross called historical reconstruction as the reaction of past experiences in the mind of the historian. So making all history as history of thought. In the same way, Collingwood pursued this idea and said that actions have thoughts side which can be attempted by the historian. However, there are certain serious problems confronted the critical philosophy of history, like the problem of historical explanation, historical individual, and historical objectivity. Historical explanation is an issue pertaining to the kind of understanding to be sought in historical studies. Some thinkers argued that all explanations of aim to show that what happened was to be expected in the view of condition which precede it. This is a rational explanation of cause effect. For instance, the breakdown of revolution in France was inevitable in view of the abuses prevalent in France during the ancient regime, or one could rightly say that the disunity among Indian rulers either at the time of the Turkish invasions or British occupation would inevitably lead to foreign domination. But this kind of rational expectation is possible only through the assumption of an appropriate general laws which require empirical verification, or historical events can be reduced to predictable general pattern as much as history as in other sciences. The basic issue involved in historical explanation is causality question. Why events occurred, one can't expect to give satisfactory answer to such questions. but the very fact that very difficult questions are attempted to be answered in the light of logic and reason makes critical philosophy a very useful aid to history. History could not be modeled on the pattern of natural sciences because no predictive powers are available to history. Historian explanations require a reconstruction in historian's mind, and those who believe that rational explanation is possible only through the appropriation of general laws requiring empirical verification. The function of general laws in history, in which it is asserted that events of human history can be explained exactly in the same way as the events of the physical world are explained by the natural scientist. In this regard, Hempel explained that logical structure of the explanation, which is based on the deductive method, and it is called the covering law theory. It lays down two important conditions: a set of well-confirmed conditions, a set of well-confirmed universal hypotheses. The first relate to the presence of a set of circumstances which are unique and specifically relate to the proposition which we wish to explain. While the second is a universal or general law, well confirmed and universally true, which will have a direct connection with the particular proposition. For instance, if we want to explain the origin of a custom having a few particular well-defined traits, we can do so only with reference to a principle where all customs have particular pattern which is accepted to be universally true. But this theory was not very popular and criticized by a number of people, because even without the knowledge of general laws, it is possible to explain human action by knowing the reason. In case of revolution, we can't explain the causes on the basis of general laws. Each revolution is different from other, but defenders of this theory argue that failure of the historians to use a particular law does not prove that they don't need such a law. So, different people explain this concept according to their own perspective. So, different people argue according to their own perspectives, like one way accept it or not. There is general statement implicit in a historical explanation. For example, if a man falls off a ladder, it may be due to the fact that unspotted bodies do fall, or it may be that the man might have fainted. So the purpose of law is to invite the attention of the historian to probe into the causes. The critical philosophers of history accept that historical thinking is similar to the scientific thinking, because the historian, like scientist, observe the facts to draw general laws, and in the process of finding linkage between one category of the fact and another category of the fact, like scientist, the historian are involved with the two basic questions, namely what happened and why that happened in history, that is, to make an attempt to explaining the phenomena under their investigation or study. The critical theory of history also argue that history should deal analyzing with the जेनियन प्रॉब्लम। डियर व्यूअर्स एंड स्टूडेंट्स, ये एक शॉर्ट सी ब्रीफ थी क्रिटिकल फिलॉसफी ऑफ हिस्ट्री। इंशाल्लाह इन नेक्स्ट वीडियो हम स्पेकुलेटिव फिलॉसफी ऑफ हिस्ट्री को डिस्कस करेंगे। उम्मीद है आज की वीडियो आपको इन्फॉर्मेटिव और इंटरेस्टिंग लगेगी। कमेंट्स बॉक्स में कमेंट्स करके अपनी राय से ज़रूर आगाह कीजिएगा। आज तक के लिए इतना ही। अल्लाह ताला हम सब के लिए आसानियाँ पैदा करे। आमीन सुम आमीन। अल्लाह हाफिज़।